Assalamualaikum. Verily, actions are with intentions, and for every person is what he intended. This video aims to provide the context which shaped the thinking behind the Fourth Muis 3-year plan. Imagine we are now in 2030. What kind of a Singapore Muslim community would you like to see then? Do you envision a community that is rooted to our Islamic traditions, confident of its identity, economically strong, contributing positively to our nation, or able to balance material and spiritual pursuits? How will global and local trends affect our journey towards the vision of a Singapore Muslim community of excellence? The shifting world power will transform our global political and economic landscape. This will significantly impact the way we live and also work. Scientific and technological advancements have created new opportunities as well as challenges. The new media revolution has also changed the way we engage with one another. What about some of the internal challenges that Singapore may face? Over the next decades, we are facing a demographic challenge of an aging population and declining birth rates. This will have an impact on the quality of the workforce and the sustainability of our economy. The influx of foreign talents and migrant workers to address this gap might also affect our social cohesion. We are seeing a widening income gap within the society. This growing inequality may threaten the social fabric that we have built over the years. On the other hand, we are also seeing a growing Muslim middle class who have benefited from Singapore's economic prosperity. So, how can we ensure that nobody is left behind or falls through the cracks? How can we ensure that there are enough helping hands to support the least privileged amongst us? Let us now look at some of these issues and how they can impact us in our daily lives. Firstly, new religious concerns. Now, you have heard of designer shoes, designer clothes, but have you heard of designer babies? Sounds bizarre? Well, recently in the United States, they had successfully carried out experiments that had led to the birth of 30 healthy genetically modified babies. Can parents decide on the kind of qualities that they want in their children through genetic means? Our religious leaders need to address more challenging ethical questions as we see further convergence of science and technology. Secondly, aging issues. With more than 1.3 million Singaporeans now over the age of 40, our nation is home to one of the fastest expanding greying population in Asia. As families need to care for their elderly parents, how would this impact our community's resources? How can our mosques cater better to the needs of our senior members of the Jama'ah? With their wealth of experience and wisdom, our elders are in fact key assets to our community. How can our young maintain a meaningful and respectful bond with our elders as they share beautiful stories, everlasting memories, and significant traditions which shape and strengthen our Singapore Muslim identity? Thirdly, diversity issues. Our religious landscape has always been relatively homogeneous. A majority of Muslims here are a part of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. While this core has remained intact, it has evolved over time due to global developments and the changing social conditions. With Singapore becoming more open, we are now seeing a more diverse religious landscape. How would Muis fulfill its role as the religious authority in this complex environment? The pervasiveness of social media has also transformed the way we relate to one another. Instead of greater tolerance and understanding, our differences have become more obvious. More groups are fighting for space and gaining their respective following. Would this make us become more fragmented? Our young is also expressing their faith in their own ways, making their own choices. What would this mean for Singapore's future religious landscape? Would diversity be a source of strength for us? Or would it cause disunity and loss of trust? Fourthly, the middle class. Our community is blessed with a growing middle class. With better education, more Muslims have better jobs, accumulated wealth, and are living comfortably in beautiful homes and owning cars. Yet, they remain rooted to the faith, and for some, they are even searching for more meaning in their lives. Islam can no longer be about a set of legal rules. It has to provide relevant guidance as they deal with a more complex living environment. How would this change their religious preferences and also needs? As they become immersed in the larger society, how would this change their attitude towards their family and community? Would the middle class become more disconnected, or would they become more socially conscious of others who need their care and support? From what I have shared, how do we now respond as a community? What should Muis do in order to drive the community forward? We have identified several strategic areas which will make a difference as we move forward into the future. Here are the 3 key areas. Firstly, we need to ensure that Muslims continue to be religiously resilient and rooted to our Islamic traditions. With a deep and meaningful understanding of Islam, they become responsible individuals who care for others around them, resilient in the face of adversity, and constantly strive for excellence in all their endeavors. Secondly, we need to ensure that our institutions become stronger, credible, and effective. Besides providing useful support and resource for the community, they should be a source of inspiration and identity for future generations to come. The quality of our institutions reflects how far we have progressed. Moving forward, we need to strengthen existing institutions and create more solutions to address the changing needs of our community. Thirdly, we cannot take for granted the values of trust and social cohesion. Given the demographic changes, we have to sustain the goodwill and harmony that we already have between the communities and within the community. We have to embrace diversity and make it our source of strength. As Muslims, it is our duty to promote good and do good in society. We also need to reflect this in our individual and collective values and deeds. The future is going to be challenging yet exciting. It is a journey that will continue to unfold and present us with treasures and surprises that need to be discovered. Let us reflect on how, as a community, we can adequately prepare today for tomorrow. Do we have the sound fundamentals for us to succeed in this journey? How can our socio-religious institutions remain dynamic and resilient? How do we harness the potential power of diversity? Everyone has a role to play in shaping the future, the journey towards a community of excellence. Let us work together to co-create this future.